Okay, I came across a study that I thought was really interesting. This video deals with anxiety and depression and gut bacteria. And I came across this study. It was really interesting. Let me get the name of it here, and I'll link to it in the description. It's called Fecal Microbiota Transplantation Associated with Improved Aspects of Mental Health of Patients with Recurrent C. diff Infections. So what that means is there's a common infection that especially older people and young people are prone to getting, especially in hospital environments, called Clostridioides difficile. I might be mispronouncing that. Commonly referred to as C. diff. And it's a gut infection, and it can be really serious. And those C. diff infections, usually they're treated with antibiotics, but sometimes if they keep recurring, they'll do this gut bacteria transplant. And where this study gets really interesting is they were giving people this FMT, this gut bacteria transplant, and what they found was it was inadvertently treating their anxiety and their depression, general anxiety disorder and major depressive disorder. And so they did the study, and they have their results in the study, which I'm not going to go too in-depth with. Like I said, I'll link that in the description. The study followed up 6 months later, at which time they still were not having depressive or anxiety symptoms. So really interesting. I'm fascinated with this study. It mirrors the study that I did a video on where a woman with Crohn's disease and epilepsy had her Crohn's disease treated with FMT, the gut bacteria transplant, and it inadvertently cured her epilepsy. She was able to go off the medicine, she was able to have a baby, and even 2 years later she was still seizure-free after having uncontrolled epilepsy for most of her life. So this study is similar insofar as they were treating a gut issue with FMT, gut bacteria transplant, and inadvertently cured some mental disorders or issues with the brain. So I think what that shows, and people talk about this a lot, and it's kind of the normie tier explanation, is, oh, there's the gut-brain axis, but they never elaborate on that, and that's always bothered me. I think people should be more specific when they talk about it. Your gut bacteria create the metabolites and neurotransmitters that the brain then uses. I think, and I could be wrong, I'm not a doctor, don't take anything I say too seriously. Talk to your doctor before making any medical decisions. But the brain is like the engine of the body, right? And you don't store your gas in the engine, you store your gas in the gas tank. The gut is the gas tank. That's where your body is drawing metabolites, transmitters, all those things from. The liver changes a lot of the things that your body absorbs and stuff like that. Your kidneys filter, whatever. But the gut, there's a lot of specific bacteria strains that make GABA, which if you've ever taken Xanax, for example, that operates on GABA receptors. So what that means is these bacteria in your gut are essentially, you need them. You have to have them. They're a part of you that you need in order for your body to work properly. Now, that is what I've read in a lot of these different studies. I'm going to do a lot of other ones. There's some studies on obesity where they find that they've done this with mice. I don't know what the ethics would be about doing this on a person, but they've done studies where they'll take a skinny mouse and an obese mouse and they'll transplant the gut bacteria from one into the other, and the recipient, their body changes to match the body of the donor. That's really interesting. It kind of goes against the idea that obesity is genetic. Now, it may be something people have a hard time controlling, but it means that maybe there's a lever that no one's tried pulling yet. Maybe the diet changes have more to do with gut bacteria than the actual contents of the food itself. Those are kind of hard to tease apart, but what I mean to say is it might not be the vitamins and minerals in the food, it might be that those foods can ferment better bacteria or more efficient or more useful bacteria. So it's pretty interesting. There's a few other studies too, like the obesity one. I believe they've done it for bipolar disorder. I've seen a study on that, and I'll do a video on that one on its own. But this is super interesting. The more I read about this, the more excited I am about it. And it's fun. There's specific strains that do specific things. And I don't want to do everyone's research for them, but it's a fun thing to research for me. Butyrate is a good example of a slow down neurotransmitter that's made by gut bacteria. Trying to think if there's anything I want to include in this video other than what I've said so far, but I think that's it. I'll have some more videos. Like I said, I'll do one on gut bacteria and obesity. I think that's a pretty interesting topic. You can pretty much take any mental disorder or, anything like that and type in that disorder and gut bacteria, and you will get interesting results. There's definitely more than a little bit of a parallel there, but that's all I've got for right now. Thank you very much for watching.